What's up, allies? We are back, and I have made you wait long enough. You heard the little thing that Larry and I put up a couple days ago, and now we're going to give you a real close look at this retro remix line from Trend. Let's get into it. Alright, so as you know, we have been following Trend Enterprises' release of their retro line. We've talked about it just a couple days ago. You saw the post that went up here on 80s Allies where Larry and I were talking about some things that went on there and some changes and such. And one of the things that we mentioned was this retro remix line. Don't worry, the other review on the other retros is coming. It's on the way, but I wanted to get to these first because this is something that's so different and that we haven't seen before. And we're going to start by taking a look at the packaging, because the packaging has changed from the retro line. As you see, the red has been replaced by this sort of, I guess we're going to go with teal on this. We're going to go with a teal look. It has changed over to a retro remix, and packaging looks good on the back. We have replaced Clarence. Clarence is not there right now, as all of you may know. This is Clarence, right? This guy is just the skunk that's on the sticker. That's not Clarence. Those are two different dudes, right? Don't get them mixed up. Anyway, we have the skunk down there at the bottom has replaced Clarence, and it says here in the back, "Let the good times roll. Make new memories with much loved Trend stickers in new remix designs." Okay, so let's talk about briefly, in the event that you missed the previous video that dropped on Wednesday. As you may have heard or may not have heard, Trend has done a remix, basically, that's come up with some of the stickers that may not fit in with the current retro line that they're doing for whatever reason. One of the things that's been missing from that line is anything that had a peanut or peanut butter scent or whatever. And if you're curious as to why, go back and watch the video on Wednesday. That'll fill you in on everything. But so what they've done is they've altered the sticker. This was the original one that's right along this side here. And it had a green background at the time, and it was just peanut butter. It didn't have the little red there. And as you can see, this has been changed to strawberry jam. And there are the other two. There we go. There's the other two stickers. You can see that basically what they've done is there's now 3 designs on a sheet as opposed to the 1 design for all 12 stickers. And this isn't the only one they've released, of course. They've released several others. We have the infamous skunk, which is now a flower bouquet scent. We have the peanut that is a caramel scent, or something close to it. We have pizza, which is back now, and the strawberry. And those make up the 5 stickers that are part of the inaugural retro remix line. Now, if you take the stickers out of the package, the inside of the card is similar to the previous one, but that's what's inside if you're curious. If you order these as a set, Trend does send this along. As you can see, we have the sensational skunk here. I don't know that that's his name, but that's what we're calling him. And it has room for one of each design for each of the scents. Just like the others. It's no different there. It's exactly what you've come to expect with these sheets. Now, these are available on Trend's website to download and print for nothing. So even if you don't order the full set and you still want this, you can get it. The other thing I should point out is if you do order it as a set, and the website does say that this will come folded. I think Trend maybe heard some of my reviews where I was saying I wish that, they didn't fold or whatever. They've made it very clear now, right there. It says it right there for everyone to see. This will be folded. If you don't like that, by all means, you can print it out on your own, and you won't have to worry about that. So just an option there. Trend, good on you for letting us know that that's the way it is. I appreciate that. Now, one of the things that I want to point out with these guys is, I mentioned it, that they've changed the stickers somewhat. This is why it's a remix. And this is the one that I have available, so I'm going to show you this. This is the peanut, and this is the original design, just not the original colors. This is one of the originals. And as you can see, there is a considerable change in the design. And that's what they're doing. Plus, then there's 2 more designs that aren't there. Now, this, by the way, is what an original package looks like, in case you've never seen one. Now, this one is scented as caramel. That's what they went with. I guess I'm getting a slight caramel scent there. It actually, I'll tell you what it reminds me of most. If you have the original pancake from the 80s and you smell that, it's somewhere between caramel and that scent. That's what it smells like. Not a bad scent. It's close enough that I give it a buy here, so to speak. I'm not real clear on why they went with caramel for this particular character. If you listen to, again, the thing that Larry and I put out, Larry suggested that, wow, wouldn't it have been cool if they went with like the circus peanut as the scent, sort of that orangey sort of thing that candy had. And I think that actually might have been a way to go with this. However, there is one last peanut that hasn't been released, and that was the original peanut design. Again, if you're interested in seeing that, by all means, watch the previous video. So they could revisit that, and I think that would be a neat way to do that trend if you're paying attention. Just a thought. Larry might have had a good idea there. The other major change, of course, is the skunk. They have not released the skunk in the original line. This is the way he's come out. And it's a flower bouquet as opposed to an actual skunk scent. They have changed the design. If you look at the design here, this is pretty much what the sticker originally looked like, except that it was a green background. What they've done here is they've altered the background, of course, but they also added, there we go, they added a few flowers in his hand. So they made that change in order to account for the fact that the sticker has changed to flower bouquet. And I have to be honest, I think this was the smartest thing they could have done with this particular sticker. I know some people are, a little concerned about the fact that there's a skunk wasn't released as skunk scent. But to be honest, I don't particularly like the scent of skunk. I mean, I have the original sticker. I think I have 2 sheets of it actually. And really, this I think was a great update, and I'm fine with that. This one, but the caramel's a stretch. But this one I think is a good idea. The next one is, of course, the PB&J here, the strawberry jam. I have to be perfectly honest. If this, initially when I got this, I actually have 2 of this one, which is why this one's not open. The other one's open, and unfortunately I left it at home. Sue me. But when I opened it and I smelled it, it does smell like strawberry jam. I think that they succeeded in the smell for sure. I would have liked it better if it would have been some kind of peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but after the explanation I got from Trend, I understand why they're not doing the peanut butter thing. There is a risk, there is a potential danger for people that have allergies, and how do you deal with that? I get it. Things have changed in terms of the way that they make stickers today as opposed to they did back in the day. So I get it, and but I think it was a good idea, and much like the flour, I think if you couldn't do the peanut butter, that was one way to go for sure. Then we come to these 2. Now the pizza, I think pizza was a good one to redo. It had a great scent the first time. It has a great scent now. I love the pizza. I always have. I think it's one of the more popular characters, and I think it was a good idea to do this one. I also like the way that they updated it. It's instead of the yellow background, it now has the green and white, and then of course you have the remix with the other 2. Lastly is the strawberry. This is the one I have to be perfectly honest. If you were going to remix one, I'm not sure why they did strawberry when they had strawberry jam coming out at the same time. I'm not really getting why they would do 2 strawberry scents at the same time. And although it smells nice, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's a great sticker. I just feel that as a collection, I think as a whole, it would have been better had it been a scent that was completely different from each other. There's only 5 in this initial wave. I really don't feel that there should have been any 2 that were similar. I think they should have been far apart. That again, that's just my opinion. It is no reflection on the quality of the stickers here, which are all fantastic. It's just my personal opinion as a collector. I would have rather this, this been in wave 1 and this would have been in wave 2, and they would have had a different one in place of this one for this time around. Yeah, that's it. It's 5 stickers. I think they all do pretty decent. If there's one that's sort of meh, it's this one. And I don't think that it's so much the scent. It's just that I'm trying to understand the scent with the character. Whereas with this one and this one, the scents were changed, but the designs were changed in order to match up with what was going on. So you added flowers to the skunk, makes sense. In this case, you add the jelly design to go along with the peanut butter. It makes sense. That all works. When you get to this one, I'm not sure where we're getting caramel out of peanut. And that's the thing that I'm having the hardest time with, is understanding why that design choice was used for that. So that's where we're at. And let's get into final thoughts. Okay, so realistically, this is the one that's probably, if there's anything that you can nitpick about these 5, it's probably this guy here. Not because the scent is bad, not because the sticker is bad, but simply because I'm not really clear on how the caramel matches up with the peanut, and I think that it was an area of, I think it's a missed opportunity. Larry very quickly pointed out, a couple days ago hopefully in the video that you watched, that circus peanut would have been an option, perhaps using some other type of seed butter, like say sunflower or something, that could have created a scent close enough that you could have got away with it. And they chose to go this direction. I kind of get it to a certain degree from a marketing standpoint. Again, one of the things I pointed out a couple days ago was that there is a certain fear factor with peanut scents and allergies and such, and you're selling this to teachers who are taking it into a classroom with children. If the children know that they have an allergy and they're told to stay away from everything like this, even if it's called peanut but it's not peanut in order to avoid the allergy, blah 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 blah, going with something that's completely different makes sense from that perspective. I get it, but as an adult collector, it's kind of bad. The other negative I would say is the fact that just from a marketing standpoint, I think you didn't need 2 strawberry scents in the same wave. I think you could have done something else. There's any number of scents that we've talked about over time that I think you could have, made a change with or done something different with. Other stickers in the line that you could have redesigned into something and got away with it easier than that. That's, again, it's a nitpick. I get that. And that's where we're at with the negative. On the positive side, though, I think this is a really great opportunity in a number of ways for Trend. First of all, although most of the 101 stickers that they've released as part of the retro line really hit the mark for me, there are a handful that they either altered dramatically as a result of changing times and such and so forth, and there are a couple, 2, 3 maybe at most, that just I feel didn't necessarily hit the mark. Probably most notably the caramel apple from the last wave, where it smelled like apple, but there was no caramel scent at all. You obviously have access to a caramel scent, so why you wouldn't put those 2 together, re-release it as a remix, and finally give us what we were looking for, which is caramel apple sticker. It seems to me that could be done, and now you have the way to do that in this remix line. So I think in that respect, I think it's great. The other thing that I like about it is we're getting the characters in different poses and different designs, outside of them appearing in one of the sticker books or what have you, and that's just been since this remix, because other than that, the only time they've ever appeared like that was in either the old posters that they had back in the day, which many people do not have any of because they were so rare, and the other thing is the binders, which there's more coming on binders here shortly because they have put something up on the website. We'll get into that in another video in and of itself. But you don't get to see these characters very often doing other things. And so I think that was a really great idea, too, and a real winner. Ultimately, if this is the way the retro line is continuing now with the retro remix, I think it's great. I'm hopeful that we will also see the retro line continue, and what I would love to see in that is let's see some scents that we haven't seen before. Let's see some designs we haven't seen before. Let's go with garlic or baby powder or things that weren't released in the original run back in the 80s that maybe we can try to enhance that line and bring something back. All in all, I think the way we're going here is a great option, and I think these are great, and I really am satisfied with them, and it's a strong recommend for me. So thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll be back shortly with the remainder of the retro line.